morning everybody. I am going to present my views on this poem on children written by Khalil Gibran. This is an excerpt taken from the best known work of this Khalil Gibran, that is Prophet. This Prophet has 26 sermons. Sermons in the sense it is considered to be the preachings of Khalil Gibran. Among all the 26 sermons, this is one among them. In this present poem of On Children, this Khalil Gibran describes us about how should parents treat their children in growing them up. When all these sermons are about an answer given by this Khalil Gibran when he is asked by a person, when he is requested by a person to talk about a particular topic. And there was a woman called her as Al-Mitra, who takes hold of a baby against her bosom. She comes to this Prophet and has requested him to speak about our children. That's why after being requested by this Al-Mitra, he has started speaking on the children. He begins this poem saying that your children are not your children. The very first line of this present poem suggests the reader of this poem is that the children, one who are born out of the parents, they really do not belong to the children. The parents are suggested by the speaker of this poem. Their children aren't really their children. Why? Because is that he gives us a reason is that they especially belong to the existence, the abundance of existence in the nature, as they have their own ideas and thoughts as well in them. Actually, those sons and daughters of the parents belong to the life's longing, where they can crave for their existence, where they could find their life in their best possible manner. And moreover, this Khalil Gibran finds out that all the sons and daughters of the parents come through the parents. Only those parents are considered to be the mediums. They must serve as a medium through which, through whom these sons and daughters come in. But actually, they are not the possession of these parents. That's why this Khalil Gibran he suggests these parents not to impose the parents' ideas over these children. As the sons and daughters are living their life with the parents, being members of their family, they do not belong to the parents. Why? Because is that I had already provided you people a reason. That is, they are born because of the parents. That's why they, though they live their life comfortably with their parents, they do not belong to the parents, which means they shouldn't impose their possession over these sons and daughters over here. Following to the next point, here a comparison has been made by this Khalil Gibran. That is, harrows have been compared to children, and bows that refers to the parents. And whereas the God is considered to be the archer. Here in the coming lines of this, how should the parents can give their love but not their thoughts. So here in this present land, from here onwards, Khalil Gibran as pointed out that how should parents treat their children in the best possible manner. The parents can give only their love and affection towards their own children, but not to impose their thoughts. Why? Because is that the children have their own thoughts in their mind. They have their own set of mind. They have the free will to do something according to their set of plans. That's why only the parents are allowed to give their affection. They could give their love as much as they can. The parents further are advised by the speaker of this poem that the parents may give the shelter to the bodies of the children but not their souls, because the souls of the children dwell in the house of tomorrow. The life of the children always flows like a water. It can't stand persistently in a place. Always the younger generation always thinks about the upcoming days. That's why always their thinking and their souls remain in the house of tomorrow. And that's the parents even can't visit the house of tomorrow. That is done by these children. Why? Because is that the parents always adhere to a certain rules and convictions, and they are always prejudiced in their manners, and they have certain implications in them that to be imposed on the heads of the children. That's why here the speaker of this poem says his readers saying that the parents can't visit the house of tomorrow. That is done by the children. And here, as I told you earlier, the Hacho becomes a god, which means he takes the bow into his hand to send the living arrows forth. That's why, as he has the creator, he is the creator of this present world, as he is omnipresent everywhere, all around us. This Hacho takes hold of a bow in his hand, which means he takes control of the parents. The arrows now are considered to be the children, and bows are the parents. As I told you earlier, these arrows are taken by the God as well, as he had taken the parents into his hand, and he has created his own path of infinite through which he may send the living arrows, that is the children, on the path of infinite, which is eternal. And when we start looking forward on the path of infinite, there is no impediments at all, there is no problem at all. It goes on and goes on. The path that is ever created by the God, that looks like eternal one. As the bow is bent in the hand of a Hacho to send the arrows forth or ahead, this the parents are also bent by the Hacho's hand, that is by the God's hand, which means the God has bent down the parents to send the living arrows forth, which means they must help their children to nourish their life and to create their own life. That's why the Hacho, that he loves the arrows that is sent forth by the archer, and also he loves the bow too, that is the stubble, which has been compared to the parents. In a sense, the Hacho, he loves both the parents and the sons, which means the children too. In this way, Khalil Gibran has concluded his poem on children by saying that the parents should provide and they should create an opportunity where the sons and daughters of them can create their own path and where they could find their way to create their own destiny. Thank you all.